So thank you for sharing those. So Lou,
All
how
right.
about you? A fond childhood memory?
All right, now, are we looking for a funny? Do you want to hear
Oh yeah,
something
it could be
funny?
funny. It could be whatever you think you'd like to share. Oh, you got a lot.
There's a few I could think of.
Okay.
There's a few I could think of.
One that really stands out.
One that really stands out. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. This was kind of funny. I was in Germany. I was 9 years old.
Okay.
I meet a family. And the little girl kisses me in the closet.
Wait, quick question. Did she kiss you or did you kiss her?
She kissed me in the closet. And so our friends, our mothers, they stayed friends after Germany. And then many, many years later, they brought us back together and we got married.
Wow. Sounds like you're stuck with that girl for life, huh? I just want to set the record straight for all the listening audience. It was his idea. But I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong. I'm very glad things went the way they did. So yeah, this guy right here, 9 years old when we met. I was 6. But yeah, life has a funny way of making sure things turn out the way they should. So speaking of, I am very curious, how did you two meet? And at what point did you realize that your relationship was going to be more than just friends? I think this time, Bradley, it's you. And notice, each of you are going to speak to this, so you may have a very different timing of when you had that recognition. But yeah, how'd you meet and when did you know?
Who do you want to go first?
Bradley. Back
to you. Oh, well, let me see. When did it start? Well, her best friend and my best friend are first cousins. Her best friend is Sierra, my best friend is Patrick, they're first cousins. And so we kind of knew each other in passing because of our association, with our best friend, but we weren't really looking at each other seriously because, at that time, speaking years ago, we weren't really looking at each other. And, I was involved with somebody, she was involved with somebody. So we didn't appear on each other's radar until, I would say, years later. We didn't appear on each other's radar. It just so happened that one time that her best friend, Sierra's brother, Abraham, was getting married.
Okay.
And of course, I'm invited naturally because that's Patrick's cousin as well. So, I'm invited to the wedding ceremony, but, just so happened that Patrick and I are helping him with their wedding arrangements and things of that nature. So, as we're there, I noticed that, she's on the floor dancing and I'm just watching what's going on. So I happened to start a conversation with her father. And he pointed out to her, hey, that's my daughter over there. I'm like, really? Because, I never put 2 and 2 together. I never met him, That's my daughter over there. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And then, we started dancing, had a great time on the dance floor. But, we didn't really think nothing of it at that time, but something was there. Something was there. So, wow. Years go by. We don't see each other again until, she moves into our congregation, which was Opalaka at the time. So she moves into our congregation and I'm like, oh, Erica's here. And so to tell the story, it wasn't just me looking at Erica, it was me and 3 other brothers that are also looking at her. And what compounded this is that we're all friends and we all knew each other. So, it was an unusual situation. Nobody, the 4 of us, no one was showing our hand, but she knew that we all were trying to get her attention. Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna let her pick up.
The plot thickens. And so, Erica, you had choices. Wow, that's amazing.
Story of my life. Yeah, well, much like Bradley, we kind of met in that kind of environment where we knew of each other, but we weren't interested romantically in each other at the time. Both of our best friends were cousins, so we would oftentimes run into each other because of their connection. But Bradley to me was just like, oh yeah, that's Bradley, the hype man. We gave him a nickname because whenever we would be at parties, he would just be bouncing from one little group to another, just dancing and hyping everybody up. So my girlfriends and I, we gave him the nickname Hype Man, unbeknownst to him. But he always had this high energy, positive energy, smile on his face, could pretty much spark up a conversation with anybody. And so, that was a nice, characteristic about him. But like he mentioned, I made a change to move to a different congregation, and he happened to be in that one, and my best friend was also in that congregation, so I had a familiar face. And so my intent was not to be looking, for a relationship to date anybody. I was just there to kind of just expand my ministry and do more. And so I wasn't really looking, to get married initially. Although that was something that I didn't want, but it wasn't like the main focus at the time.
Okay.
So, so like you mentioned, there were some other admirers in addition to him. They kind of made it very known that they were interested. They weren't subtle. But at the same time, I was kind of one of those people who just kind of sit back, observe, watch, just to kind of get an idea of, personality, characteristics of a person, qualities. I knew what I wanted in a mate. My standards were what's outlined in the scriptures as what a husband should be, and that's what I was looking for. I knew what I didn't want because I had examples of that already, and I kind of saw that. I didn't want that either. But so I had my standards. But at the same time, that wasn't really my focus. My focus was like I was working like crazy also. That I had a job as a chef. Yeah, my hours were crazy. So, but we would be in the congregation, we'd work together in service. Sometimes they would actually invite us out to gatherings, going to movies or to a restaurant to eat as a group. He would often ask me, hey, what are you doing? Are you free? And I'm just like, no, I gotta work.
Yeah.
It was always, I gotta work. And so eventually he stopped asking, but the other guys that were interested would also ask, and that was the same response to them too. So they couldn't get a read on me, from my understanding. And I didn't really show that I was interested in either one of them. And for good reasons, because they were all friends too, and I was in the flirting type. But I also was kind of just watching and kind of letting things kind of play out just to kind of see what they were like first, then a spiritual man. And so it wasn't until I decided to leave the job that I had to devote more time to focus on spiritual things. And that was when I became more available. So whenever they would have like an outing or the movies or something like that, they'd ask me if I told them to come, and I'd be like, yeah, I can come. So that's kind of how we kind of started to get more familiar with each other. Even then, it was more of a friend type of basis. We weren't really romantically interested still yet. But I would say the turning point was when we were out with some friends, and I was about to go home because I had a long day. I was tired. I was like, I'm going home. But they wanted to go and like grab some food. And so he kind of, I'm sure he probably mustered up the courage to come and ask, hey, you want to come and grab a bite to eat with us? By that time, I've already made my deductions out of the four. And the only one that was a potential was Bradley.
Look at that.
But I still didn't, he didn't know that I had my eye on him. So I was just kind of waiting, decided to see what he was going to do, I'm a little old-fashioned in the sense, the man, if you want the woman, you got to go and you got to go get her.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to share this video and like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at NewYouWow. Until next time, stand tall in your power and remember, your belief in yourself is your superpower.